Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Two Geeks and a Noob podcast with your host, SuperBeard Vince Hoover, and his co-hosts, Jason Q. Perez and Denise Jackson. A podcast for the indoctrinated nerd, the casual fan, and everyone in between. Now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode 8 of Two Geeks and a Noob podcast. Now, you may notice there's only two of us once again. So before we begin, like and subscribe, of course. We'd appreciate that very, very much. But last week, Q was under the weather, so he was not able to make it. So Denise and I ran the ship solo, just the two of us. However, this week, she has a scheduling conflict. She has a class that she's doing for her job that she has to take, so she could not make it. So it'll be just me and Q, and it's a Comic Book 101 reunion of sorts.
That's right, Comic Book 101.
So for those of you unaware, Q and I used to host a show called Comic Book 101 on an internet television show station. Now, you will not find those videos online because the owner is petty and has deleted all of them once I left.
Really? I was still able to find some things.
I think
I
there's
can't remember
some
the last time.
Yeah, there's some that you can probably find online.
The Logan one was the one that I saw the last time.
Because the internet never fully deletes anything.
Yeah.
But as soon as we left, they were like, he got all petty. And I left because he wasn't paying me. So, and I've got no problem airing out that dirty laundry. I'm not going to say who it is, but for those in the know, you know. You don't know,
yeah.
You could try to look it up. Do what you want. I don't care. But it is a Comic Book 101 kind of thing, and what we used to do on Comic Book 101 is discuss what's going on.
Except we were in the studio together.
Yeah.
I had a dry erase board. We had a really nice looking studio. A lot of paraphernalia. We did have weekly giveaways. We had call-ins, and this is actually what we would like to get our show back to.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Get involved.
Yeah. So
start liking.
Like, comment. You know, we want to hear your comments. We want to have you do that. Also, on the audio version of this podcast, especially over on Anchor FM, which right now a lot of people are listening on Spotify, which I greatly appreciate. But if you go directly to anchor.fm/thebeardedperspective, you can actually leave us a voicemail, and we can play that voicemail on the podcast. So if you have anything you'd like to say or any questions or anything like that, you can do that via voicemail or just leave it in the comments. We'll read it on next week's episode. No problem.
Don't forget to tell us where you're from. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we want to know where our fans are. Share where you are from in the world.
Yeah. It's like last week we got a comment because I mentioned that I was going to start doing a history of videos where I just do like a breakdown of characters. And that'll be on the YouTube channel. And somebody commented they want to know about the 2099 universe. So that is on my slate of stuff to shoot. Those videos are a little bit... I'm having some trouble getting to them only because I am also in the process of remodeling my house. So it's like timing's kind of off, but we're getting there. So we're getting there. Also, I just got 2 new kittens, and I'm super happy about it.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, they're super cute. They'll probably make an appearance next week. Because I'm gonna put a cat door in the door, so they'll probably make an appearance next week. They're 2 little cuddle butts too. I was only going to get one, and then it was sisters. They were litter mates, and they were sisters. And I'm like, well, I'm not separating them, so I got both.
Yeah. And
they're absolutely amazing. Even at 3 months old, they're not crazy. They're already litter box trained. They're already fixed. They just play and then they sleep most of the day. But
yeah,
they're great. So it's been awesome. So that's been my week. And then when this podcast goes out, the other reason we had talked about possibly, rescheduling so that Denise could be on, but tomorrow I'm going to be out of town all day because tomorrow's my birthday, and this will come out on tomorrow. So today is my birthday.
So happy birthday, man!
Yeah. So tomorrow is today. But yes, Thursday, July 29th is my birthday. I am 39, so I am old, as we all are. And that's fine. 39 is a great number. And then Q's going out of town Friday, so we were like, no, we'll just do it. The two of us have a little comic book 101 reunion and have a little fun. Plus, there's some stuff to talk about. We got some
Yes,
stuff.
there is.
There's some stuff we haven't got a chance to cover because of, Loki was so intense and so time consuming in a good way. But there's the Eternals trailer. Hell, they just dropped the Shang-Chi trailer today.
Yes.
Which would technically be yesterday, again, when this plays. We've also got some DC stuff we haven't got a chance to dive into yet. So, before we dive into the DC, let's start the Shang-Chi trailer. And I'm going to try to pronounce it's Shang-Chi is the proper pronunciation, not Shang-Chi. Us Americans like to butcher that, but it's Shang-Chi.
That's correct.
So I'm going to try to keep myself corrected on that.
Yeah, I have that written in my notes here, just in parentheses. Yeah, it's Shang-Chi.
Yeah. So the new trailer, it's a short one. It's a 1 minute trailer. It's almost like a teaser trailer. So it felt a little weird. After we've actually had 2 full trailers and a teaser trailer to get this trailer. But Marvel did something, and I wrote an article about this. Go to screengeek.net. That article is up now. I wrote an article on the trailer, and I talk about this very point. A lot of times, when a movie isn't as hyped as, say, like a Spider-Man No Way Home or a Doctor Strange in a Multiverse of Madness, Shang-Chi's kind of like flown a little bit under the radar because it should be the first film that doesn't really play into what's going on with Phase 4. Like, it does involve Phase 4, but it's not going to be heavy in the multiverse aspect. It's going to be much more grounded into this family aspect, which kind of Black Widow was.
Yeah.
Did you watch Black Widow, by the way? I'm sure you have. Yeah. You and I want to talk about that some more, but we'll get to that. So Shang-Chi's kind of flown on the radar. So what happens is a lot of times the company will, let's put a lot of trailers out there. Let's keep their interest sparked.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is you end up seeing the whole movie in the trailers.
Yes.
The absolute best example of that is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 didn't do great critically. It wasn't bad, but it didn't do great critically. So they were like, really, okay, we got to keep pushing this. We want to keep this franchise going. They ended up releasing 47 minutes of the film in trailers. And you knew the entire plot, including some secrets that you weren't supposed to know. Now, while Marvel did let one big Easter egg out by putting Abomination in the trailer, fighting Wong in that thing, that's more of a bring you in secret and not a oh my god on the screen secret. That's more of a let's bring the Marvel fan who's not sure of this character in by saying, oh look, Abomination's back. So that one I'm okay with. They've done a really good job of not giving away this film. And they've done a really good job of keeping it like, look, it's a father and son story. And a son who's trying to get out of the shadow of his evil father. He's wanting to live his own life, but he's realizing that I have to, instead of running away from my past and my father, I have to face him head on. They've not really given away anything in the trailers to spoil the film in any way, and I think it's really impressive.
Yeah. So I have not, I never read any of Shang-Chi, so I did some research and just, found out some facts here about he and the Mandarin, the rings themselves, and the idea behind the false Mandarin in Iron Man 3. This is now we have the real Mandarin, and I found out something pretty interesting. One of Marvel's one-shot short films. There was a one called "All Hail to the King," which had I can't think of his name right now. The one who played the false
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, and he had mentioned to the guard because
real quick. Sorry, can you hear my air conditioner? Because I just realized it was still on. Normally I turn it off for the podcast. You can't hear it?
No.
Okay,
I have a fan. Oh, I heard that beep, but
well, that's me changing because I normally I crank it all the way down and then I turn it off. But if you can't hear it, then I'm gonna leave it on because it's hot in Florida. State sucks. Yeah. It's America's jockstrap. I hate it. But go on.
But it was a little short film, and he had mentioned to the guard that he wanted to meet the real Mandarin, and that was Marvel's way of saying, "Hey, we didn't do you wrong. We got you, and here it comes." So, but yeah, other than that, let's see. Shang-Chi came out in the early 70s.
74, I believe.
he was known as the master of kung fu and brother hand. And at the time, his father was Fu Manchu,
Yeah,
and
which
that was during the time where Marvel had the rights to Dr. Fu Manchu.
well, it's
And they kind
also
of
very
just
obvious. Like just that name alone, it's very obvious why they're not using it because it's Fu Manchu is a very not great.
racist.
The great, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's
It's
put it
just
out there. It's
racist. It
racist.
is.
The whole character was racist. That whole character was racist. It was a bad time. It was a bad time. And
So
Marvel,
Marvel's way is now putting the Mandarin as his father. So that's pretty interesting. Um, being that was not his father in the comics, and I guess now they don't really mention his father so much anymore
yeah, I don't think he gets.
because of
I don't think
that.
he gets brought up at all.
But yeah, I don't really. The only real fact I ever knew about him before even today is that I knew that he trained Wolverine. I remember hearing
He also trains.
that
He
much.
also not only trained Spider-Man, but he actually created Spider Fu because the Spider-Man's
Yes,
because the Spider-Man's
acrobatic
added
and
agility and his the way he couldn't do regular kung fu for fighting. He had to like because part of his fighting he actually has to pull his punches. Because if he's fighting right, because he does a lot, he's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and if he's fighting, a mugger or an ATM thief or a common criminal, a bank robber, he can't punch him like he would punch, a supervillain. So he has to actually pull his punches. So Shang-Chi, sorry, developed Spider Fu and taught him, and it's actually a really funny but great comic. The one where they have that flashback of them teaching him. So yeah, that's great. And yeah, he trained Wolverine. He's worked with Captain America. He is
mm,
the ultimate fighter, hand to hand combatant in the Marvel, not just the cinematic universe, but in the Marvel
and Marvel.
616. He is the greatest hand to hand fighter there is, hands down. Like he beats Black Panther, Iron Fist, all
Iron
those
Fist,
yeah, all those
easily.
guys. He is
Yeah,
much better than all of them. I'm not saying they can't beat him in a
yeah,
fight. They could, but he is the best hand hand. It's like, he's the Bruce Lee of Marvel. That's exactly what he's
yeah,
based on.
right, yeah.
Which
So
I will say, from these trailers, the vibe I got, it's Crouching Tiger meets Jackie Chan. Cause
it's still playful enough to be Marvel
yeah,
without being too serious.
well, you've got a lot of that like over the top martial arts with like the flying and the kicking from 50 yards away, flying across the screen kind of stuff. But you've still got that playful, but also realistic. Like Bruce Lee's movies, he just seemed invincible. Even when he's getting,
Stoic.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was just like
just
he was taking on 100 guys at once, but it was always one at a time.
yeah,
Whereas in Jackie
yeah,
Chan, it's like he's an everyday guy who
yes,
somehow can do superhuman things like these stunts, but he's also when he fights people, like especially if he's in a group, he's not getting attacked one on one. Like they're all going after him, and he's using it's great stuff. Which I'm gonna do. So I do one of the other things we do on this channel is I do movie reviews, which I did a Black Widow movie review. But I'm gonna do and that was called a Bearded Perspective, which is the namesake of the channel. And the AC just kicked off, just in case anybody can hear it on the thing. I do apologize, but it's very hot. Um, Whereas a bearded perspective is the current movie reviews, I will do a bearded retrospective and do older films. And one of the things I want to do, probably in the very beginning, is I want to do a Jackie Chan trilogy. I'll probably do like Rumble in the Bronx, First Strike, and Super Cop, the first three that came out in America in the '90s. That really turned people on to Jackie Chan, which led to the Rush Hours and the Shanghai Noons and everything else. So that's something I want to do. Shang-Chi, though, is, I think, going to blow people away. I have a lot of hope for this film, and that hope it's backed up by these trailers and what they've talked about. Um, I'm just really excited. Like, I think this movie is going to be amazing, and I'm so excited for it. I think between Shang-Chi and Eternals, we're going to be getting Iron Man and Thor level rebuilding. Like, I think it's just going to be like another,
mhm,
like, it's like when Iron Man came out, it was a revolutionary, like, oh my god kind of moment. And same with Thor. Even though, like, in retrospect, a lot of people are like, oh, Thor wasn't great. It was still
I
mind
like
blowing.
Thor.
I
Yeah,
love Thor.
yeah,
Uh,
I
Kevin
loved it.
Kevin Kenneth Branagh was the absolute best choice for that. And I think the only thing that hurts that film is the dyed blonde eyebrows of Chris Helmsworth. Um, but yeah, I do believe that Eternals and Shang-Chi are going to be on that kind of level. It's going to be Phase 4's true kicking off. Eternal is probably slightly more
Yeah, I want to say that.
Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy esque, like
Hmm.
these unknown characters that are of the cosmic realm. But also, I feel like knowing Chloe Zhao's work and just knowing what they've talked about with this film has like true like Oscar worthy potential for Eternals. So let's get on the Eternals trailer.
Yeah.
That has been so obviously okay. The biggest question. Let's just jump right into it. Where the hell have they been?
Exactly. Okay, so this is I need some clarification on some things.
Go.
Okay, the Eternals that we see, the stars that we see that are going to play them, are these the original Eternals? Are these descendants of the original
No,
Eternals?
they are the original. They are truly
Okay,
immortal. So they've been around for tens of thousands of years, which the film will span. I think it spans. I think it's the number keeps fluctuating. At one point, it was 1,000,000 years. At one point, it was 70,000 years. I think the current number is 30,000 years. The film will span over the
so
course of
also
history. But
then, do they have children? Are their children Eternals? Like, are they immortals, or do they
I
not?
I don't know if any of the characters in the film will have children per se. They can have children. They would be Eternals. Thanos is a perfect example of that.
Of being an half eternal, half deviant.
Well, he is an Eternal who had a deviant gene. Both his parents are actually Eternals.
Okay,
Um, but because the reason the deviant gene is dormant is because when the Celestials created the Eternals, they actually created the deviants first. But everything they created is based off the same
so they use
person,
this.
or like what they used to build it. They built humanity, Eternals, deviants, all from the same thing. And in the comics, it's part of the reasons we have mutants is because the Eternals are these super beings, but they come from the same, for lack of a better term, bloodline. So the mutant gene is prominent in humanity in the Marvel 616. What that means for Marvel moving forward in the movies, I have no idea. I don't know how it's going to play in. Um, we kind of discussed this on the Loki season finale.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can happen with the mutants coming in now. I know it's a very touchy subject. It's a hard because
Yes.
they represent so much more than just superpowered beings. So it's like,
Yes.
how do we bring them in? Eternals may answer that question though, because they're going to have to answer
Yeah.
for why they haven't been around. And they even in the
Yes.
trailer, you see a joke about it because they obviously know what's going on. They're like, well, with Captain America and Iron Man gone, who's going to lead the Avengers? There's a whole joke about it where
Yeah.
Icarus is like, I could lead them, and then everybody laughs at him. And what's funny is because Icarus is their leader. He is the equivalent of Captain America to them.
Mhm.
And also throughout the trailer, there are nods to Captain America.
Yeah. With the shields that
Yeah.
have the star.
Yeah, on what is the character's name? Crap. Camille Nanjiani's character.
Well, we also
Crap.
see.
He's on his plane because he's a Bollywood star, so he's super filthy rich.
Yeah.
And on his plane, he has the original Captain America shield from World War II in his plane as like a trophy. But then you also see throughout history there are elements of the shield, like
Mhm.
different groups of people carrying shields that look like a version of Captain America's shield.
Mhm.
So how's that going to play out? That's a very interesting Easter egg.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
I mean,
Yeah. Where were they?
yeah, exactly. It's like where were they? That's the biggest thing. That comes out in November, so we're not too far off. But where the hell have they been?
How
And
do they fit into the multiverse of madness?
exactly, like I have a feeling their film is going to take place possibly like in that gap just before the multiverse breaks free.
Okay.
It'll obviously be after Endgame because they talk about the fact that both Captain America and Iron Man are gone.
Right.
But I think it might be like because I believe that they're saying that the multiverse kind of breaks free assumed around the time at the end of WandaVision, which is only a month and a half, 2 months after Endgame.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
only issue there is Spider-Man Far From Home takes place 8 months after
That's supposed
Endgame.
to come out in December.
No. I'm talking Far
No.
From Home, not No Way Home. Far
Oh,
From
I'm
Home.
sorry.
The
Okay,
one where
I'm
he
sorry.
goes to Europe.
Right.
That one takes place 8 months after Endgame. So if the multiverse broke free before that, why was he surprised to know about the multiverse from Mysterio when he said he was from the multiverse?
Yeah.
Unless, and
That
this,
information just didn't get back to Earth yet.
well, no, this popped in my head. Maybe that information is trickling down into Earth, and that is why they use the multiverse as their excuse for Quentin Beck just showing up in the first place. So, like,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Spider-Man, a kid, hasn't heard about the multiverse yet. He's dealing with all his crap, everything going on in his little neighborhood, so he hasn't heard about the multiverse breaking free. But maybe, you know, Sword and Shield have heard something about it, and they're
Yeah.
starting to see it. So that's why they were so accepting of Mysterio coming from another universe.
Mhm.
So Spider-Man may not have been aware. So that just popped in my head. So maybe that is kind of a way to fix that, again, lack of a better term, plot hole.
Yeah.
But we do know that Spider-Man No Way Home will pick up immediately after the end of Far From Home, where his
Mhm.
identity is given out and he's accused of murder. And the rumors are it'll be a very big multiversal thing. And of course, the toy leaks are already out. You know, the Legends figures, the Lego sets, the Funko Pops. We do see there are new costumes. I don't know if you've seen these yet.
I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. So there are new costumes. Um, there is a black and gold Spider-Man outfit. There is a Spider-Man outfit with it looks like as if Doctor Strange was in the costume. It's got a glowing Doctor Strange chest piece, and instead of like webs, it's got like magic coming out of the gauntlet. So
Hmm.
I don't
So
know how exactly
strange,
yeah. So
strange in the armor making business.
maybe I don't know if he's gonna imbue.
Maybe, maybe he's
He might
found
have
some
to.
sort of artifact to
Yeah. Well,
put on the suit.
my thought is that he has to imbue Peter with some kind of magic, and they have to traverse the multiverse as part of getting him away from everything going on, like the fact that he's being hunted now as a murderer. And with the multiverse breaking apart and Doctor Strange having to deal with that, and then Peter comes to his doorstep, I need your help. He's like, well, shit, kid, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah.
But here, let me try to help you out the best I can. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how No Way Home is. They're purposely holding off on the trailer, obviously. Normally we would have gotten a trailer for the film by now, but they're holding off on it. Um, there are tons of rumors that like Charlie Cox filmed scenes as Matt Murdock,
Mhm.
potentially playing Peter's lawyer. Um, that was only added to by this latest rumor that Vincent D'Onofrio is returning as Kingpin for the Hawkeye series.
Yeah. I thought I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is something. It just popped off last week, late last week, and I wrote an article on that as well. And if you were on my TikTok, you probably saw me talk about it. Which this week I haven't been on TikTok. I apologize to anybody who does follow me there. It's just been a crazy, crazy week. I will be getting back to that, but yeah. So, and I know that some people are like, see, the shows are canon. This doesn't make the shows canon
No.
because it's a multiverse, so
Yeah. And
it can still
it,
exist outside. The deal is Kevin Feige's not really looking to bring these shows into canon, but he does like the actors who portray. Like obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio nailed Kingpin. He was so good, and so is Charlie
yeah,
Cox's
he did.
Daredevil. But
Mhm.
he's not looking to bring an R-rated, bloody, murdering Daredevil into the MCU. Do the heroes kill? Yes, it happens in every film.
Yeah.
But he's not looking for it to be this bloody, overly aggressive version. It's going to be a little bit more, and that's if Daredevil even actually appears. They could just keep him as Matt Murdock. You've also
Yeah.
got, we've got She-Hulk coming up. That's a legal That's a legal. That's a legal show. I mean, it's supposed to be a legal
Mhm.
comedy, almost Ally McBeal-esque, from what I understand.
Mhm.
Um, but that's also rumored to have Charlie Cox in it, so he could just be sticking around as Matt Murdock. But I mean, seeing Kingpin back is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we've had this happen in Endgame when Howard Stark's butler,
Mm-hmm.
when he was in it and he was part of
Yeah, Jarvis.
Agent Carter's Jarvis, was part of Agent Carter's show.
Yeah,
Still that doesn't make it even then. Before the multiverse was spread apart,
yeah,
doesn't make it so.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what variants teach us. The variance that we learned in Loki is that you can have multiple versions of the same character that looks the same. You know, they don't always look different. Yeah, we saw a lot of different looking Lokis, but we also saw identical Lokis, like President Loki.
Yes.
That was Tom Hiddleston. So you can have a variant that looks similar, so you can bring in the same actors. Um, one of the, I think it was a writer or the director for Loki did quasi confirm that Peggy Carter looking person in episode 1 that we saw in the background
Yeah.
would have been from the Agent Carter series. So that the
Okay.
Agent Carter series was the variant, and that was the one being taken in.
Aha. So okay.
Like, I don't think it. I think that basically the way it was said was that, like, it wasn't the intention, but if that's how it is, like, yeah, okay, I can see that. Well, that would have been Agent Carter then, because Agent Carter isn't canon. Basically, was how it was.
Mhm. Okay.
So, and the thing is, just
Well,
because they're not
or is
canon.
it? Well, maybe hers is not canon anymore because Steve came into her life and changed her whole story.
Well, yeah, but that was always part of the plan. I did
Yeah.
see recently there was somebody who was just like, Captain America is the cause of the multiverse, and I'm like, okay, guys, look,
No.
calm down. No, he's not. Because everything he did, he was supposed to do. That was all part of the sacred timeline. The multiverse was coming, and there were two options to stop it. Or there was two options at the end. Sylvie and Loki take over for He Who Remains, and they keep the multiverse separate from the isolated timeline that was the sacred timeline. And I'm using the word isolated because he used that word because the multiverse has always existed. It's just been
Right.
kept separate.
Right.
Or Sylvie kills him, and nobody's there to stop the breakage in the Nexus events, and it all branches together, which is what happened. So that there's that theory that if you line up the final episode of Loki and the final episode of WandaVision from 27 minutes 30 seconds on, it supposedly lines up perfectly to where when Wanda hears her kids is the moment when the multiverse actually breaks free after He Who Remains is killed.
Cool.
But that was also confirmed to not be true.
Ah.
That was confirmed that was just a coincidence. Like, they were still shooting Loki when WandaVision was doing post production, and then they were doing post production when WandaVision got released. So they really didn't have the ability to tie everything together. So
Okay.
that's just a fan thing. It was very coincidental. It was really cool, but it didn't work out.
So how about the world of DC?
The what? Oh, World
The
of
world of
DC.
DC.
There's a lot going on there too. So
Yes.
the biggest thing right now is the Flash movie is filming.
Yes. Now,
And
how do you feel about bringing Michael Keaton into this movie?
I love it. I just love Michael Keaton, first off. Second off, we're going to be getting multiple Batmans in this. There's definitely a lot of time jump and multiverse jumping in this film, too. There are scenes where we see a Barry Allen who doesn't have his powers. There is a different version of Ezra Miller throughout.
One with long hair, one with
Yeah,
short hair.
and you see like his body double and him walking together, but he's wearing the clothes that Ezra Miller was wearing earlier, so it's definitely his body double. My issue with this film is the casting of Ezra Miller. I've never thought of him as a good Flash. Definitely not Barry Allen. I just don't think he's a good choice. My only hope is that you know, Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck and everybody else in the film can carry the film, which I think they can. We've also got Supergirl,
Yes,
but
and even Supergirl,
it is not the
blonde-haired
yeah, it is not
Supergirl
the
who
one
used to
we're
that.
used to from the comics. It is a version from the comics, but
Yes.
it is a it's I want to say it's Earth 2's version or Earth 3. It's a different Earth's version of Supergirl, and I don't even remember. I don't even think she's a Kryptonian, if I remember exactly. Maybe she is. She might be. Yeah, she might. Because I know at one point Supergirl was not Kryptonian. She was actually like a blob that could shapeshift. It took the form of Supergirl after Supergirl died in Crisis of the Infinity Earths
Okay.
or Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Right.
The Supergirl that came back ended up being not actually Supergirl. That was a weird time because she was actually dating Lex Luthor, who was in a cloned body of himself with red hair, but he was basically boinking a blob. It was weird.
So I'm pretty pumped that Michael Keaton is back. I
Yeah.
grew up watching um, the 1989 Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan, as you know. So I've been hearing a lot of people online saying that Warner Brothers is kind of trading nostalgia for quality when it comes to that, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I see where they're coming with that.
Yeah.
But I'm super pumped about this. I absolutely love the idea of time travel. I love Flash. This feels very Flashpoint esque. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of influence from that. So that is one of my top five like favorite DC stories of all time is Flashpoint.
Yeah. Mine
So
too.
this also to me may or may not settle the dispute whether the Josh Whedon Justice League or the Zack Snyder Justice League is canon. Uh, in my opinion, they could both be because again, multiverse.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's kind of what
but
DC's doing. DC's basically said, look, here's the deal. From here on out, it's the worlds of DC. And everything is canon and nothing's canon. And like Wonder Woman 84 involves Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but it's not canon to the Justice League
yeah,
because it sits outside of its own. Aquaman is Aquaman, but it's not canon to what happened in Justice. But they're both canon. Like, so everything kind of sits in its own little bubble. Like the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
yeah,
It's they could at one point interact. It's possible because they can multiversal jump, but
right,
it stands alone. It's in its own world. It's in its own thing. Because
right, right,
like, we did see there was people in like Halloween costumes of Superman and Wonder Woman,
right.
and so like apparently like superheroes exist at least in some form of media to where people are wearing them as costumes. But this is also a younger Batman. It's like year two Batman.
Yeah,
He's
that they did mention this was year two Batman,
yeah
so kind of like year two, year one, kind of yeah,
yeah
year two.
yeah. So he's more like he's still slightly more aggressive than he should be. He's still a little bit raw, but he's honing in his skills, kind of thing. And like I'm
Most of the
excited for it.
villains,
There's a lot going on in that film too.
yeah,
Penguin, Riddler, Catwoman,
mm,
I think some others. I'm looking forward to it.
so the Rogues Gallery is good and set. So
Yeah.
obviously,
So there's that film.
um,
We've also got a Supergirl film coming that has nothing to do with the Flash. There's a Supergirl film coming. Leslie Grace of In the Heights was just cast as Supergirl. That'll be coming to HBO Max.
nothing.
But that Supergirl will have nothing to do with the Supergirl in the Flash. But that Supergirl could interact with any one of the projects at some point down the line. So it's a different multiverse than what the MCU is doing, where the MCU everything is still very connected.
Mm,
And so moving forward, anything that happens impacts the main continuity. DC has had so
right.
many struggles; they basically like everything has its own deal, but they could interact if we wanted to, just for funsies. Um, it's just like you got Black Adam coming up. You got which I think
Yes.
they just wrapped production on. We've got a new Val Zod Superman coming from Michael B. Jordan. That'll be on HBO
Hmm.
Max. It'll be a series, and that's
What
a
what universe was he from?
that was
He's
Earth 2 or Earth 3. Crap. I just wrote the article on this. Is it Earth 3 or is it Earth 2? It's Earth
I thought it
2.
was one of the higher ones where
No,
all the
it's Earth
superheroes
it's
were
Earth
black.
2. It's hold on, I'll pull up the article. It's Earth 2, I want to say. But Val Zod is a black Superman, and I'm sure some people are going to be pissed off about that, but they can get over it.
But they don't understand, no,
Yeah.
that he's always been.
Yeah, he's
He's
all
just
like yeah,
another.
it's just another version. Here's the other thing.
Yeah, Earth 2. Val's out of Earth
Yep,
2.
Earth 2. Um, but here's the other part of that is that they're still working on that feature film with a black Superman as well that J.J. Abrams is working on. So that is still a thing as
Can't
well.
stand it. Can't stand when he touches things, man.
So now that one, there was talk of it being, what's his name? Calvin, the one who becomes president on his Earth. There's a black Superman who becomes president. Um, but after the Michael B. Jordan news came out, they're saying now that it's going to be just a black Clark Kent. So I don't know. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's an alien. He's not from Earth. So whatever color he ends up being, and if you want to show a bunch of people of color, the youth of color, a Superman that looks like them, that is nothing but a good thing. It doesn't hurt the character. It doesn't hurt Superman's legacy. In fact, it only enriches his legacy. It only enriches the character, and it gives people who don't get to see as much representation on screen now see the biggest superhero of all time look like them, and now know they can be super too. So I'm all for it, and I am a diehard Superman fan. Superman is my favorite character of any superhero of any kind. Um, and like I got into comic books because of Christopher Reeve's Superman, the first Superman film. And I saw that as a little kid. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I just fell in love with it. Started reading comics right away, and I'm all for it. Like I just think that would be amazing to see.
Yeah.
And I think that representation is important because you can. There's been people who argued, well, Clark Kent wouldn't know. It wouldn't be Clark Kent because he grew up in a small town of Smallville, Kansas, and he wouldn't have gone through the same type of life he had if he was black. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
I think you're actually giving him a better backstory.
Exactly. Yeah, he has more opportunity to be
Yeah.
an evil Superman because of the
because
things he was put through as
here,
a black man.
yeah,
he still chose a better path.
Exactly. So I'm all for it, and I think Val Zod is a fantastic character. He is a fantastic character. And either if they do the Black Clark Kent or if they do the Calvin, God, what the hell is his name? The president one. My internet is running slow today. Don't know why. But Calvin Ellis. There we go.
Okay.
From Earth 23.
I see.
He is Kryptonian.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It was in the higher numbers.
Yeah, he's from Earth 23, and I mean it's based on a Barack Obama. Like that's how the character, like, so he looks a little bit like Barack Obama. But he is from Krypton. His name is Kal-El, but instead of there being the dash in the middle of it, it's just Kalel, and that's how he gets the name Calvin Ellis. But yeah, so getting both versions of that would be absolutely amazing, and it does not hurt the legacy of Superman in the slightest. In fact, it only enriches it more. So it also doesn't eliminate Henry Cavill coming back, who does still love being Superman, and I think has been a fantastic modern version of Superman.
Yes. Yeah, I do want to see him back again. I really hope they get their act together.
Warner Brothers has a lot to work on
Yeah.
Hopefully they can. Hopefully these next few films, because Aquaman 2 is currently filming, although a little bit worried about that. Um, for a reason I don't really want to get into, but mainly because a certain person is still on the cast.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to go down that rabbit
See,
hole, but
I thought the same thing about. Well, whatever. Anyway.
yeah, it's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down. But like you got Black Adam, which Black Adam looks really good, and the Black Adam introduces the Justice Society of America. We have Doctor Fate, Hawkman, Atom Smasher.
Yes. Pierce Brosnan is Doctor Fate.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Doctor Fate. In fact, I liked Doctor Fate before I
Mm-hmm.
even knew who Doctor Strange was.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And while I actually, over the years, became more of a Doctor Strange fan than a Doctor Fate fan, only because Doctor Fate, it's because that's a mantle that gets passed.
Yeah.
Whoever holds the helmet
Or it's
is Doctor
stuck
Fate.
with it.
And in fact, when I started reading Doctor Fate, it turned out to be a woman, and nobody knew for a long time. Like, but it's a great character. But to have Pierce Brosnan as Doctor Fate, oh my god! Forgot he's playing Hawkman. Um, Black Adam cast. Let's see here. Oh, we have Isis as well. Oh, Aldous Hodge. Aldous Hodge, great actor. So that'll be a good choice. Um, and that's more representation because that's another person of color playing a big character. So I'm excited about that. And it doesn't hurt because again, Hawkman's not from Earth.
No, yeah. Yeah, even he was represented as he was played by a black actor in the CW series as well.
Was
And
he?
Hawkwoman. Well, you know what? Actually,
My only Hawkeye experience was from the beginning of Legends of Tomorrow and from Smallville when it comes to CW because I know it was a white guy then, but also it passes on, like it changes.
mm,
I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to give something like people would know Aldous Hodge from. I know his name doesn't always like. Once you know who this guy is, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay. He was in that movie One Night in Miami, which was really good, but not, I mean it
I
wasn't.
have not seen that yet.
Yeah, he's in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Oh, that's right. He plays one of the kids. He plays one of the nephews of Samuel L. Jackson in Die Hard with a Vengeance. He's in Straight Outta Compton as MC Ren. Let me see. I know there was something else. He was Invisible Man. The most recent Invisible Man film. He was in that.
Yeah. Okay. So that
Oh,
was
he
him.
was in Black Mirror. That's what I was thinking of. That was the one thing I could think of that he was in that people would know him in. He was in Black Mirror. He was in the Black Museum episode, which was it's a freaking great episode. That show was great.
So I got into Lovecraft Country.
I need to watch. I need to watch more of that. I've watched a bit of it. I haven't watched the whole season yet. I
I
did want to
got
finish that.
I finished the second episode yesterday. It's interesting. I'm gonna keep watching it because
Yeah,
I'm not
give it a
fully
little.
invested.
Yeah, you got to give it a little bit more. Oh
Okay.
crap! I hit the wrong button. Shit. Oh, speaking of like, okay, so this is not comic book related, but it sort of is. I just finished the Masters of the Universe Revelations on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot of controversy about that. It was kind of like, I don't even know if I want to see it now.
I wasn't actually going to watch it, even though I did love the He-Man comics cartoons growing up. I also realized that He-Man was nothing more than a 30-minute ad for toys. Like it's literally that's what it was made for.
Yeah, it's Mattel.
But when I heard about the controversy, I was like, well, now I got to see this because I love Kevin Smith. We've had our own issues. I remember when I was at Full Sail before you got there. We got to do there was MegaCon in Orlando, and they got special permission for us to do a Full Sail class only Q&A with Kevin Smith. So we got a private Q&A with Kevin Smith, but he was a complete and utter asshole. Like he was terrible, and he didn't want to talk to us. You could tell he didn't want to be there. He was very snippy and snidey the whole time. But that's because this was right after Clerks and Chasing Amy, Mallrats, and Jay and Silent Bob Strike. Like it was very much like at the height of who he was before he made those car wrecks that were like, Gigi and all that.
Right.
He got very humble after that, and he's apologized, not to me directly, obviously, but like he apologized to anybody. Like he's like, look, he's in multiple interviews. He said, "Look, I was a complete and utter asshole. I was a terrible human being, and I apologize." So the fact that he's manned up to it and has moved forward, I can appreciate him now, and I really love his work. That being said, apparently some people found these old tweets where he said he hated He-Man.
So that's what the lie, quote unquote, was
Yeah.
about. Okay.
And I think it's not that he hated He-Man. I think it's being taken out of context. He hated the cartoon because it was nothing more than a 30-minute ad for what could be a great character. The other controversy is that the series doesn't really involve He-Man or Skeletor. It's based around Teela.
Okay.
And the whole series, and like, he basically, like, he kills off a couple major characters. He does some things, like, there's some, like, I would say controversial moves made in the show, but it was pretty good. It flies by. The episodes are only 25 minutes long. There's only 5 episodes. Like, I didn't even realize I was done when it was done. It ends on a massive cliffhanger. So hopefully they do get to continue and do at least a season 2. But for those unaware, Teela becomes She-Ra. And they kind of tease very little bit of that in the series. And I thought that was really cool. I thought it was well done. The art's fantastic. The voice casting is amazing. You got Mark Hamill as Skeletor. I mean, that alone.
Okay.
But yeah, you've got some great voice actors in it. It was good. I liked it a lot. I understand where the controversy is coming from, but the controversy is coming from people who probably haven't watched the original cartoon since they were little kids and forgotten that it wasn't good.
No.
Like, it really wasn't that good of a series. There's a reason there's so many memes that come from He-Man. Because it's not good. Like, I've gone back and watched some of the old episodes. It's not good.
Yeah. No.
It doesn't hold up. It is nothing but a 30-minute long commercial to sell toys.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of the controversy, it's manipulated, man-made controversy from toxic fans.
Okay, let's see. How about all right, let's revisit Black Widow.
Yes. So, Denise did watch it. She actually liked it. She did not realize there was a post-credit scene, which blows my mind because it's Marvel. So she did not watch the post-credit scene. But she said it wasn't she's like, it wasn't bad. She liked it. I liked it. I thought a lot of the acting in it was great. I thought David Harbour and Florence Pugh were absolutely amazing. My only issue with the film is that I felt it never had a villain. I thought Taskmaster was done a little dirty.
Yeah.
Although still available character. Like, and with variants, we can still get Tony Masters.
Yes. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
But
that's very possible.
Taskmaster didn't die.
No.
And went on to help them try to get to free the rest of the Black Widows that are all around the world. That's what they were going off to do. So there could be a Taskmaster later on down the line. I just felt like it was very underutilized character. Yeah. And then like General Dragoff, like I didn't care. No. I didn't care. Like, no. He should have been more, I don't know, like they were trying to make him dastardly. I just didn't care.
I don't think he was not evil enough. He didn't do enough evil things.
It just didn't feel, exactly.
Yeah, show him like, punching one of his widows with no,
or just shoot, like something, like one of them does
shoot her. Exactly.
Yeah, like he walks in the room and they're doing their all moves where they're all in sync, and one of
show
them
some ruthlessness.
One trips or something, or one is just a little bit out of sync, so he just walks up and shoots her in the head. Like, doesn't say, like, not like that would have been what I would have done. Like, I'd have been like, he's watching him, he's standing there with Taskmaster, they're all practicing their moves, one of them messes up, and I mean, ever so slightly, and he just walks up, shoots her in the head, and tells him to continue. Like, that would have been great. Something like, that's only you would have had to add to that. So I just felt it was lacking in the villain side of it. But
Yeah.
I did like the aspect of it. Let's talk that post-credit scene, man.
Yes. Well. Isn't that interesting?
So I really do think they're building to a Dark Avengers slash Thunderbolts amalgamation.
Yep.
And Yelena will be going after Hawkeye,
Yes.
thinking that he was the one who killed Natasha, which he didn't. In fact, he did the exact opposite. He tried to stop her.
Tried like hell to stop her.
Which, by the way, let's talk toxic fans one more time. What is with all this hate for Clint? Why is there so much hate for Clint? People are like, oh, he should have died. Natasha should have survived, blah, blah, blah. Why?
God, he was a father.
They're like, oh, well, that's not an excuse. He did terrible things.
Bullshit. Yeah, okay.
They've all done terrible things.
They've all done
And,
terrible things.
yes, did he go on a murdering spree that was kind of gruesome? Yes.
Sure.
Did he kill anybody innocent? No. He went after bad people. Cartels, the Yakuza, etc. He went after bad men. And he just kind of went Punisher style. But y'all love Punisher, but all of a sudden you're mad at Clint?
Yeah.
His family was gone, and he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So instead of pointing his
it's not like he was murdering, innocent people.
he just wasn't killing innocent people. Like, oh, you have a family? Not anymore.
Yeah.
No.
He went total anti-hero.
Yeah.
And he didn't go villain, he went anti-hero.
No, he just went full Frank Castle. He's like, all right, well, my family's dead, so... And because the villain wasn't killed, so now I'm going to kill all the villains. And that's what he was doing. And, like, he fully should have been redeemed. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's honestly nothing to redeem. Because it isn't like he's the first Avenger to kill anybody either.
No.
I mean, hell, Age of Ultron literally starts with them killing tons of Hydra guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're just killing them. Nobody bats an eye then.
Nope.
So, Yelena will be going after Hawkeye. Obviously, that will be resolved. So, I don't know if Yelena will continue to be on this Dark Avengers team that the Contessa is building.
Mm-hmm.
We know that John Walker will be a part of it.
Yes.
Obviously, she already works for him. Because the line was, you're not supposed to bother me when I'm on vacation. So she's obviously already working for the Contessa. So she may go back. I don't know. But that's part of the reason why I said it feels more like a Dark Avengers than Thunderbolts is because they're actually kind of quasi-replacing the Avengers in the sense of you now have U.S. Agent instead of Captain America. You're going to have Yelena instead of Natasha for Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance that Abomination will become a part of it. So we'll have Abomination instead of Hulk. That could be part of because he's going to be in the She-Hulk series as well as Shang-Chi. But it could be that he's part of his, parole is that he has to work for Contessa. Because she obviously does have some kind of high-ranking position somewhere. And I have a feeling that General Ross is going to be a part of it as well. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's just amazing what could have come or what could come from that post-credit scene. As simple as it was.
So, I learned that Alexei, I guess in the comics originally, Alexei and Black Widow were married. They weren't. It wasn't like a father-daughter situation.
Yeah, and he never had superpowers. By the way, he never got the super soldier serum.
Yeah, he just basically joined the KGB. She as well, but her particular program is called the Black Widow program for women, and so that was a neat little history kind of lesson for that, but a neat little twist as they did it in the movie.
Also, there could have been a mutant in the movie. And the reason I say that is you remember the arm wrestling scene in prison?
Yes.
And the last guy that he ends up breaking that guy's wrist?
Yes. It was real jello-y.
That actor said he was playing Ursa Major on Instagram. Ursa Major is a Russian mutant who can turn into a bear. He's also drunk all the time, so the bear's drunk whenever he turns into the, which is funny as hell. So if he was truly playing Ursa Major, that is a possible mutant in the MCU. Also, let's talk. This was something I couldn't talk about with Denise, but you and I can discuss this.
Okay.
Initially, in the prison scene, you think that Alexei is just lying for clout that he fought Captain America in the 80s.
Yes.
But then he goes on to like really hassle Natasha. Like, has he talked about me? Has he mentioned me? So, how do you think Alexei and Captain America met and fought potentially? Because there's some theories out there, but I want to hear what you think. Because I
Yeah.
thought it was
I
just
thought,
a lie at first, but the fact that he continued to harass Natasha about did he talk about me? Like, why would he doesn't need to lie to her? She wouldn't even know these stories. Like, so like why would he even need to bring that up? That's a little weird.
okay.
Unless I mean he could be pathological, but
Yeah.
even that feels a little like a stretch.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, I mean, he is blowing a lot. Blowing himself up. Pretty big. But could it be that maybe when he did go back after Endgame, that he did somehow participate even a little bit in Shield?
That's a
Is
pot.
that
That's
one of
one
the
of the
theories?
theories. Yeah, it's one of the theories is that instead of just laying back, he was able to participate in certain things, knowing how it wouldn't affect, or maybe like he was able to like, well, this guy was stopped by somebody who was powerful. Maybe it is me. I'll do it. Um, or maybe any time that like he did something he wasn't supposed to, the TVA intervened. And so when
Hmm.
he was able to do things that he was supposed to do, nobody intervened. He's like, okay, I can do this. The other theory is that it could be Isaiah Bradley.
Hmm.
Although I don't think the MCU Isaiah Bradley actually wore the Captain America outfit. So I don't know if that's possible. It could also be that Alexei is just delusional.
That I kind of feel a little bit more. But yeah, I
Or
mean,
the government was real quick to name John Walker as Captain America. So is there a time in the 80s where they tried to revive the Captain America icon with somebody else?
I feel that would have been mentioned.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
one of those things that like it could come up later.
yeah.
Um, I'm just curious to know where that's gonna go. And like,
I don't know
obvi-
because when he's talking with Coulson in the jet, like in the first Avengers movie, and he's telling him about how he has his trading cards. I'm sure he would have mentioned if there
yeah,
was an
yeah, that's
attempt
true.
to
That's
reach.
true. Coulson of all people would have known.
Exactly.
They do kind of talk about how they tried to redo the super soldier serum, which led to the Hulk.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably would have mentioned the fact that somebody else wore the mantle at a point. Especially that would have probably pissed off Coulson, in all honesty. So that's probably not it. It's just weird. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if this will get explored any further. I don't know if the Red Guardian will be back. I don't know. Like, I'm hoping that obviously they're gonna find some way to mention like they were able to fulfill their mission and save all the Black Widows.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping that does get resolved at some point. But I don't know if Alexei and Milena, played by Rachel Weisz, will be back. I don't know. Harbor hasn't said anything, so who knows?
Right.
But there's a lot coming up, so we'll have to wait and see. But we've got that.
Yeah.
We still have no trailer for No Way Home. Doctor
Yeah.
Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I believe, is wrapping up or just wrapped up production. Um, there's a lot coming. We still got a very packed year.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Uh,
confirmation. We got confirmation that both Hawkeye and Miss Marvel will premiere on Disney Plus this year. So we've got two more series after What If.
okay.
So that's
Oh,
huge.
we also have the second installment of Batman: The Long Halloween coming soon,
Mm-hmm.
and soon after that will be the Injustice animation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's a
That's
good
gonna be
that's a good story.
sweet.
I kind
Yes,
of
I
hope
love.
I kind of hope they alter the look a little bit. I've never liked the look in the game, like everybody being kind of armored up.
Yeah,
And I get
yeah,
it. I understand why. And I
It's kind of
always
how the
like,
Justice Lords kind of looked in the
yeah,
animated
yeah.
series.
I like the customization I was able to do to a lot of characters was really cool. But I'm just not a fan of. You know what it is? Is when I saw it in comic book form, I hated it. In the
Hmm.
game, it looks fine. In comic book form, it looked terrible. Part of that could have been the artist.
Yeah,
And no knock,
that's a
no
lot
knock,
of times.
no knock to that artist in particular, but it wasn't exactly like high end DC in the first place. It was kind of a little bit lower end.
Okay, I
So
want to look
maybe
at
the
it
anime
now.
it, with the if they get the right animation team behind it, because that's one thing with DC animation is they don't have one set style. So even when they're talking like the animation team for Justice League War wasn't the animation team for Death of Superman, even though it's the same characters. So there's always that little bit of difference. On that note, Marvel just announced that they have created a whole new division called Marvel Animation. So we will
Okay.
be getting more Marvel animated films.
All right.
Now, hopefully, because it's all falling under Kevin Feige and it's all under one umbrella now, we will get a much better turnout on their animated films because Marvel has consistently failed in that department.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
the
the
one
one
thing that
part,
DC had.
and DC has crushed them when it comes to animated pictures. Um, and not everything that's come out of DC has been great, but 99% have. Whereas on Marvel, it's literally the complete opposite, where 99% are pretty much bad, 1% of them are good. Um, but with What If coming, and apparently they were so happy with What If, that's what's leading to them making a whole Marvel. So it's now called Marvel Animation Studios, or it's Marvel Animation. I think it's Marvel Animation Studios. So we could be getting a whole tier of and that's great because
Yeah,
there's characters
that's
you can't figure out how to translate to live
yeah.
action,
Oh yeah, that opens up so much potential. I mean, there's no limit
but
now.
they can also still be canon
Mhm.
in a way. And if you can figure out a way to bring that person into live action, you can do it.
And I bet you this is probably some kind of a ploy for them to fish for characters that they're acting up, they're trying to find what would be really popular and then maybe translate them to a live action.
Also think about this. Everybody wants to know what Captain America did while returning to Stones, right?
Yeah.
But
You could
that would be like a 2 or 3 part film, and Chris Evans is done. But now you can do it in animation, and you can actually do it in one film in animation, or 2 films in animation.
get a voice actor that sounds like Chris Evans and you're done.
Yeah, well, the same voice actor they got for What If, because Chris Evans didn't come back for that. Chris
Yeah.
Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and one other person didn't come back. Everybody else came back. So you can easily do the animated version of that and answer that question. You can fill in these gaps that don't get answered with animation. So I think that's really interesting for Marvel. So Marvel found the one true weak cog in their system, which was animation, and they're going to try to rectify it. DC is trying to rectify their film issue, and part of how they're doing that is instead of trying to copy the Marvel formula,
Format.
which is what they were doing, they're now allowing these stories to just live on their own and occasionally just cross over for funsies. So we'll see how that goes. Um, there's a lot going on. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on. This year's catching up. Hopefully soon I'll start getting some updates for New York City Comic Con because I'll be in New York in October doing interviews. Both Marvel and DC skipped on the San Diego Comic Con Virtual Con,
Mm.
the first really big convention that'll be live as long as everything continues to move forward. Now, granted, we have this Delta variant out there, and some countries are having to shut down,
Yeah.
and LA just shut back down, or California just shut back down. So we'll have to keep our, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We'll see how it
We'll
goes.
see.
But as long as New York Comic Con happens, this is the first. This is basically it'll be the biggest convention since San Diego Comic Con won't be there. So in America, anyways, it'll be the biggest one. So hopefully Marvel and DC are there in some shape or form, and we can get some answers. I know last time I went, I was able to talk to the director of Bloodshot, because they were trying to build their movie universe, but that didn't really work. That movie wasn't good, unfortunately. But I mean, it's all right. It's not bad. It's just not. It wasn't a great
No.
kicking off either. Um, well, fingers crossed, we'll get some updates. And I, for one, wouldn't care if Marvel doesn't release a single trailer. If Marvel and Sony decide not to release a single trailer for No Way Home, I'm okay with it. They know it's going to make $1 billion regardless.
There are ways you can tease very easy scenes just to put something out there. I've seen them do it.
Oh, I
Very
mean,
light
yeah,
stuff that
but
has
also like,
zero Easter eggs, just enough to tease it. That's all.
well, just think about just these toys that have come out have
Yeah,
have given away so much already.
yeah.
Like, so what? Like, short of just putting up a spider, like the title sequence, and having Spider-Man swing across the screen and saying "Coming December." Like, what do you do? Like, at this point, don't spoil the film. Don't put it out there. They're gonna see it. And if you
Mm.
don't put a single trailer out there and nobody has any clue what's going on, you're probably going to make more money. The film doesn't need any more hype than it already has. And as far as the people that are getting angry they haven't got a trailer yet, well, they're toxic anyways. Calm down.
Yeah,
It's just chill out. It'll be fine. I honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't need a trailer for it. And I know that the Doctor Strange trailer probably won't come until after Spider-Man No Way Home. Just because of a lot of what happens in that movie will also build towards his film.
yes.
So, and what's the release date on that? Doctor Strange. I want to say it's February? March.
March 25th.
March 25th. Okay. So, March 25th. So, yeah, so that comes out in December. So, yeah, you could release the trailer for it in January 1st. You could drop it
Yeah.
New Year's.
Oh, yeah. Man, that'd be a major promo deal to do.
Yeah, just drop it on New Year's. That gives you 3 months, and that'll give
ABC.
people a few weeks of No Way Home. So everybody should be caught up. Enough of people should be caught up. I'm okay with that. Seriously, I have no problem with them not releasing a trailer. I know a lot of people.
Like, you're gonna get the movie.
Yeah, you don't need a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. There's too much that can slip through that can ruin the movie. Like,
Could ruin other movies.
yeah, and there's just too much. So I'm all for it. Don't release a trailer. We've got Shang-Chi in December. We've got What If coming up in just a couple weeks. We've got Hawkeye and Miss Marvel. We've got Eternals. There's plenty to keep everybody occupied. And also, there could be that it looks like the What If series is actually going to. I thought it was going to be completely separate from the MCU. But the more I look at it, it looks like it will actually tie in. Like, the Dark Doctor Strange looks like he fights main MCU Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But
So I'm assuming this dark one is the one who went with the dark magic.
Well, yeah. So apparently, like, from what I understand, the plot of that episode is that instead of him driving by himself, Rachel McAdams' character is in the car with him, Christine.
Oh.
And she dies in the crash. And so he's trying to bring her back, which is why he's looking for magic, and thus goes the dark dimension route. But like I said, it seems to be that he's fighting main continuity Strange at one point. We see Wanda being, Peter Parker's fighting her, trying to web her up, while other people are fighting her. So this all leads into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Part of that probably also leads into No Way Home. So if we do get this trailer, it won't be until after What If. And at that point, What If will be done. I think it's 10 episodes. So if it starts August 11th, you're 10 weeks later. You're almost to December anyways. You're basically in November at that point, right? So, excuse me. That pizza is not sitting well. So at that point, short of a very small 30-second teaser trailer,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
after What If, that's mostly title card. Like, we don't need anything. Like, and I know it's gonna piss people off, but they're still gonna go see it.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna boycott. Nobody is.
nah. No, they're
So
just being spoiled. Yeah, they're just going to whine and complain until it's released, and then they won't have to complain about it anymore.
exactly, because its release date is early December, I believe. December 17th. So if we look at a calendar, so let's go to August. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks puts us at October 6th. So it puts us a little bit over 2 months away. So you could drop a teaser trailer after What If, or even at the end of the What If last episode, and boom, there you go.
In the end credits. No,
But there's no need. I mean, maybe they attach one to the Eternals film, maybe. But what about when is Venom 2 coming out?
all right. So how's the politics work with that? So is Venom still within the Sony realm, or is this something that's being shared between Sony and Marvel?
As far as I know, the best way to explain it is Spider-Man can jump between the two from MCU to the Sonyverse, but the Sonyverse is going to stick to the outside of the MCU for the most part. It will have some tie-ins, like we have Michael Keaton's Vulture and Morbius. It's more it's more just connections to allow for crossover if they want to do that, but I think they're waiting to see how some of these other films like Venom 2 and Morbius do before they, I think mainly before Marvel is like, do we really want to attach ourselves to this more?
Mm-hmm.
So Venom 2 comes out September 24th.
That's 2 days before my birthday.
Nice. And then Morbius, I believe, got moved to next year. It was supposed to come out this year, but I think it got moved to next year. If my computer would stop being so slow, Morbius is coming out. It just says 2022. And I have a release date. I know it got moved. I believe it's spring of 2022. I'm trying to see if I can find. Let's see here. This is from Variety. Release date has been relied. It was supposed to premiere October 8th. Now it's been moved again, but no date. So yeah, it depends a lot on how Morbius and Venom 2 do, because if like Venom made a ton of money, but it wasn't critically accepted. If Venom 2, which I feel will be a lot better because I trust Andy Serkis a lot more as director. But if it doesn't do well again, possibly they may just want to like, all right, we're going to just stick to the deal we have now and let Spider-Man and Spider-Man alone jump to that universe if you can make it fit properly. But I have to, Kevin Feige's like, but I have to be involved. Mm-hmm. So, as of right now, Spider-Man and the stuff from his solo film, because technically Vulture's not MCU. He is MCU because he's in the Spider-Man Homecoming, but he's never been in any film other than a Sony picture.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still part of the Sony universe. So him crossing over isn't actually a true sign of an MCU crossover, because he wasn't in any other MCU film except for the Homecoming, which is slightly MCU adjacent. It's MCU, but it's not 100%. So, but all right, we've covered a lot. I think we did pretty well. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Once again, please like and subscribe, comment down below any questions or theories or anything you have, anything you want us to cover, let us know. We're going to have some fun pretty soon. Next week, hopefully, everybody will be here. Schedules be damned. We're going to have a fun little Marvel quiz. I'm going to test Q and I'm going to test Denise on their knowledge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And the winner will get their own coldest water thermos. So it'll be fun. So, again, thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe. Let us know how you're doing. And we will talk to you later.
All right. Peace.